I always get nervous and all the cameras are like super close in my face. It's like nerve-wracking.
There's only a few of us.
I know, but it's still like,
Let's turn around.
it's like super like close. Like, good thing I got my lip waxed. I was just talking to Josh about that. You know how like the guys do, like they grow out their mustaches. The girls, they just don't shave their legs or their armpits until it's fight week. Sorry to throw all us girls under the bus. Maybe it's just me. No.
We'll show us a new position for you. Yeah, we're done, right? Got all the information wherever you go. This is a new position for you, right? I mean, back-to-back loss is not fun to deal with. I mean, give me an idea kind of what the mindset is like, how it feels this week.
You know, it is a new position, but that's why I love martial arts, and that's why I continue to do it, because it challenges me. This is my life. Without challenging yourself, without facing your fears, you never know the type of person you can become. And so I'm just continuing on my journey. I'm loving every step of the way. There is no shame to have lost to the girls that I've lost to. You know, one being the champ and the other being one of the girls who have beaten the champ. I've learned from those fights, and it only makes me stronger. So I'm excited to go into this fight and display the things that I've learned, and also just display myself.
Yeah, it's a fantastic attitude. Is it one that you're able to have right after fights, or are there some downtimes for a little while?
There always has to be downtimes, you know, and it's like what I tell my daughter. If she does something wrong, she gets frustrated or something like that, and she cries. I mean, obviously, emotion is natural, and it's okay to cry. But when I tell her, I said, "Does this crying solve the problem?" And now she's crying and wiping her tears. She says, "No." So what do you do to solve the problem? You know, that's exactly what you do, is you solve the problem, and then you just get over it, and you learn from it, and you get better from it. So obviously, you know, it hurt, you know, it made me kind of want to go in the corner and cry a bit, and I did, and then I brushed it off, like whatever, you know. Life is all about falling and getting back up. When a baby learns to walk, it doesn't complain because it just learns to walk, you know, and you should view life that way.
So you, as a lifelong martial artist, this is what I'm curious about. You know, when you're like, okay, I gotta fix this, I gotta solve the problems. Mm-hmm. What is it? I mean, are there new techniques to learn? Are there new strategies? Is it mental? Is it physical? I mean, like somebody that's done it their whole life, I feel like there's not like a lot left to learn. So how do you right the ship, so to speak?
It's all of the above, you know, and that's the beauty of martial arts as well. It's like the minute you think you have it all under control, you know, everything will come tumbling down. You are never the same person, and you're never fighting. Every fight is different and unique in its own way, because you're fighting a different opponent. You are a different fighter yourself. You're in a different arena, and so you have to be able to learn, adapt, evolve, and that's just the beauty of martial arts.
Last thing for me, what do you see in Cortney? She's somebody that doesn't have the greatest record on paper, but has fought all the best in the division. So what do you think about her as an opponent?
You know, Cortney is a gamed opponent, and when you, like you said, when you look at her record, it doesn't show, but she's a fighter. She's not going to back down from taking any opponent. If you look at her record and the girls that she's fought, they're tough girls. And so I'm not taking her lightly. I know she's one of the bigger girls in the division. I've studied her strengths, and I'm prepared for all of her strengths.
You mentioned her size just right there.
Mm-hmm.
Against a much larger opponent like that, what sort of tactics can you use to negate that?
I guess you'll see on Saturday. No, you know, I have taller teammates. Obviously, Holly Holm to be one of my main training partners this camp. She's not only taller, but she's also bigger, stronger, and has been in the game for a long time. Has great footwork, and so if I can get in the cage with Holly and learn how to control my emotions, then I have the confidence to step into the cage with Cortney this Saturday.
The timing of this fight, I mean, just last week the title was contested. It seems now we know Rose is going to be the champion moving forward. Does this division feel different with Rose at the helm? She's a very different type of champion than you are.
You know, since I got signed to the UFC, I've been keeping an eye on all the girls in the strawweight division. I think that all the girls in the top 10 rankings are very hungry to climb to the top of the ladder. I feel like the rematch between Rose and Joanna is only going to make all the girls more hungry because it humanized Joanna a bit, and I feel like Joanna has fought a lot of the girls already that are in the top tier of the division, and so it opens up a lot of new matches with Rose being the champ.
What do you mean when you say it humanized her?
Because a lot of the mystique behind Joanna was that she was, unbeatable, and just this ferocious fighter who couldn't be beat. And with the fast knockout of the first fight, a lot of people still weren't sure if it was a fluke, if it had something to do with her weight cut, or this or that, if she just wasn't aligned mentally, which obviously all those things come into play. But to be able to see the fight play out in 5 rounds, you get to see more of Joanna in a situation where she's competing against somebody that's on her playing field, like on the same level. And I feel like after the first fight with Rose, Joanna came into this fight a lot more respectful of Rose's power, and it was bound to happen. If it wasn't with Rose, it was going to be with somebody else. It's just the nature of a fighter's journey. And when you first get into fighting, you're fearless. Just like when you're a kid, you're fearless, and you jump in the pool and you do flips until you fall on your head, and then you're like, oh, I ain't gonna do that again, So it's the same with fighting. When you first start fighting, you're fearless, and you're pulling off these crazy submissions and these crazy knockouts because you've never been pushed, you've never been stopped, and when you stop, it does something to your brain to make you a bit more hesitant, to make you a bit more aware, to make you a bit more cautious, I guess. And sometimes that can be good, and sometimes that can be bad, but it's just a part of our journey.
What do you think about Joanna basically saying that, I know you say all this, but Joanna then says, no, I won the fight, and you should bow down to her.
Oh, who me? I should bow?
Yes, the other women in the division need to bow down.
Oh.
Not you personally. She said all the women.
I was like, oh, she said about me.
You in the group.
No, I think that's just a part of Joanna's personality, and it's a part of her persona, and one of the ways that she deals with adversity. Like she is, tough mentally, and she continues to stay tough mentally as she deals with her failures, and that's how she deals with her failures. We all deal with them differently. Some of us laugh at ourselves. Some of us, cry, go in the corner, hide, and that's just the way she deals with her challenges.
One of your teammates, Ray Borg, was directly affected by the meltdown in Brooklyn last week. Just generally, what were your thoughts when everything happened with Ray and Connor?
I was extremely bummed for Ray. I thought that he was fired up to fight. That fight had already got pushed back, and he just had his baby. His baby was, in the ICU, and I'm sure he wanted nothing more than to bring home a W and a bonus for his family, his brand new family. And for all of that to happen to me it is really disheartening. I feel like Connor has had the opportunity to build himself, to build his brand, to build his fight career, and has been really successful at it. And for him to do the things that he did was very selfish. In my opinion, I think that we are in the sport that if you have a personal beef, you can deal with it and get paid for it, instead of trying to go behind the scenes and wreak havoc amongst people that have nothing to do with your drama, and affect not only the fighters, the coaches, the fighters' families, the employees of the UFC, the employees of the arena, and the list goes on, right? We just got into New York, and I'm sure the commission is shaking their heads right now, thinking, why did we let these fighters come in? And what concerns me is that if nothing happens to him so that he does change his ways, that a lot of the fighters will assume that that's what they have to do in order to gain popularity, in order to gain fame, in order to gain financial stability. And I'm sure a lot of the fighters will have no problem, reverting to those ways. But the thing is, we're trying to make this a professional sport, and we're trying to allow people to see us as humans and as martial artists, because it is mixed martial arts, and a lot of us have that martial art background, and we have the respect and the honor, and we should have the humility and control, right? That's what martial arts is all about, controlled chaos. And I've always looked up to Conor and his ability to control his emotions inside the cage, which is what makes me sad about the whole situation, because I would think that Conor would have the emotional control to figure out a way to use a situation to his benefit in a different way.
That's the answer I've heard.
That was
I was wondering what Master Yaya's reaction to
What Master Yaya?
Conor's throwing.
Master Yaya said, let all the fighter come out the bus, okay? Let all the fighter come out the bus, then see what he gonna do, okay? He's still gonna throw something at them? I don't think so. That's what Master Yaya said.
My last question. I'm just curious for your thoughts on the main event, Justin and Dustin. It's an amazing fight. I think everyone's excited for it. Sort of, how do you see that going down?
Justin and Dustin, I think that both of these men have very similar styles. They just like to go out there and hash it out, and I'm very excited to see. With fighters like that, it's kind of up in the air, really. You never know what's going to happen, and I have a feeling that each one of them are going to clip the other more than once, and the fight will continue. I think it'll be like multiple standing knockouts, and I kind of have a feeling it'll turn into something along the lines of the Robbie Lawler and yes, fight. You got me. Yeah, so I'm very excited to see that fight, and yeah, excited to be on the card.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We have Margaret right